So making Lara Croft completely unrecognizable and turning her into a large lesbian has proved to be a flop and to receive low viewership. However, one thing that it did do was get 2 seasons on Netflix, because Netflix has revealed season 2 is on the way, and obviously not for the reasons that you think, because we saw the numbers. It wasn't based on performance. But Netflix is all about this. They like this. So just like Velma, we have another season where we can laugh at this before it meets its inevitable demise. Let's go ahead and dive into this video. So just to show this first, because for some reason, the fans of this show, yes, all 12 of them, are trying to brag as if this season 2 is because this show was some sort of success, which, again, they're not really rooted in reality. They don't know the difference between a man and a woman, first of all, and they don't know the obvious fact that there are only 2 genders. So, of course, they have to make up other things, and this being one of them. We already saw that it failed to chart at the top 10, losing even to reruns on Netflix. So we know the numbers were not good, and even the Critical Drinkers video, I mean, judging by the numbers that we received, the Critical Drinkers video dunking on how hilariously bad this is got more views than the actual show on Netflix. Okay? I mean, at best, here it is sitting at 1.5 million views. So judging by the numbers from the top 10 and the fact that Netflix's Tomb Raider didn't even chart, we know at best they met that number, but most likely didn't even meet that number because the 10th place slot was barely above it. So just saying. Now, let's go ahead and take a look back at this article that says Tomb Raider, the animated series, renewed for season 2 at Netflix. Now, this was revealed in June of 2023. So no, this isn't some, it's being framed on the way that it's being presented and stuff. Sounds like, hey guys, guess what? Since season 2 went so great, since season 1 went so great, we're getting a season 2. That's the way to announce it. That's the way to try to clean up for the brand's sake, because this was a colossal embarrassment for Tomb Raider and Crystal Dynamics and Netflix. So they had to try to clean that up. Of course, on the actual Netflix account, seeing bots reply to it, it's kind of hilarious. So anyway, this Nkudi, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Gatwa, also has joined the cast. So I also have more to say about that. If you don't know, he's the one who ran Doctor Who to the ground. So he also will be contributing to running Tomb Raider to the ground as well. So anyway, this is old news. We knew this was going to happen. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at what we know thus far. Okay, so yeah. This is who he will be having a role. And I'm like, what the heck? They already made Zip gay in the show. They made him flaming gay. So what are their plans with this guy? Are they going to take back Carter Bell and make him gay as well? What is the plan? Of course, you got to sissify the black men for the modern audience. So anyway, here's what we've got. They said more tombs, more rating, more Lara. I didn't see any actual tomb rating in the little snippets I saw. It just looked like a bunch of Lara Croft crying. Lara Croft, Large Croft, Larry Croft crying. So anyway, here we have Sam from the 2013 reboot. That whole story was lame, but I digress. Sam is back. But not only is she back, but she's big backed. So I made this tweet. As a cute best friends turned into big backed lesbians. By the look of it, they can't even stay consistent with their own Tomb Raider reboot lore. So, here's how we have what they looked like in the 2013 rebooted game. And then this is what we're getting now. So, dude, they take, Sam, she was this petite, cute Asian girl, and very more extroverted, bubbly. And that was the dynamic with Lara Croft and Sam. Now, I don't like the idea of giving Lara Croft a bunch of friends and stuff. So I'm not even a fan of the 2013 plot. But here you have me defending it. which is hilarious. I'm in a position right now as somebody who is a hardcore classic stan, someone who says, you know what, nothing else exists except for the classics 1 through 6. Even so, you got me defending Tomb Raider 2013, and you even got me thinking, maybe it wasn't as bad as I've been saying, because when you see it get worse, it's like, Granted, obviously, I still would never consider this to be Lara Croft, but she was still a likable character, and I do like the character, she's just not Lara Croft, and she doesn't have the Lara Croft look or personality. I mean, just some slight little facets of it that they did make. But anyway, staying on point here, the point of Sam and being in Lara Croft's life on this and being her friend on here, and their dynamic was that Sam bounced off of Lara because Lara Croft is a very introverted loner type, and they wanted to, because Crystal Dynamics can't come up with an original idea to save their lives, they have to mimic something else. And in this case, it was Uncharted for the 2013 reboot trilogy. And what did Uncharted do? It had characters bouncing off each other, a lot of dialogue and stuff like that. They didn't have what it takes, and they didn't have the talent to create a solo adventure for Lara Croft where they weren't relying on heavy narrative they didn't have what it takes to carry the game with actual gameplay and tomb raiding and puzzles and so on and so forth. So instead, they did more of an action game with optional tombs and heavy narrative and an emotional story and all of that. So they take a character who is more introverted and more of a loner, and in 2013, they did actually make her want to go do things alone sometimes. So they at least made a semblance of an attempt at that point. This is when they wanted to convince us that, hey, we're going to make her the Tomb Raider, and this is how they bamboozled us. Because it was like, oh, okay, I can see how possibly they could turn her into Lara Croft in their own way. Granted, she wasn't like 16-year-old Lara Croft, because the excuse was always, well, she's younger, but she wasn't like 16-year-old Lara Croft in Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation, who always had that same personality. She didn't transform her personality and become a different person. She obviously went through character development and growth, but she was still the same person and had many of her same characteristics. So in this case, it was like, okay, they'll make it happen, but they didn't. So you have this more I digress though. You have this more introverted character, and then you have her a very extroverted best friend, very blatantly put out there that this is the best friend of hers. There's like someone on the comics, he tried to make them kiss, and that got shut down after the game already came out and all that stuff. And then like now people, oh, but they always, well, this is so lesbian coded, blah blah blah, because for some reason these like porn brains cannot fathom people having friends, so without wanting to do the nasty with them, so that's all they think about. They're really gross in that way. So something that is extremely normal, which is two girls being friends, they have to pervert it. So anyway, yeah, so you take this more like bubbly, outgoing, and then you have like someone who's a bit more tough, introverted. Granted, my gosh, she cried a lot, but still, she still was more get her hands dirty than Sam was, like the party girl. There's even which I'll get to more into that in a little bit. So anyway, they take her, cute little bubbly extrovert, and turn her into this, which she looks mad, and she's got a gigantic back. Like, her back is huge. What is going on? It's like, what is this? So they made her gain like 60 pounds. So anyway, now all of this stuff coming out, it's got a bunch of people, all of these like newbies that try to hijack the fandom, that but she was always a lesbian, but she was obviously that wasn't the case. I said weirdos have always tried to retcon, even 2013, because here's the thing, they always want to pretend like Lara Croft, but she always could have been into girls too, blah blah blah. She never was. She was engaged to a man in the original lore, and she was only seen in romantic situations with men in the original timelines. Granted, I always was a fan of what the mainline games did for the first 6, which they weren't going to give her a romantic interest at all because she decided to forego that for a life of adventure instead. And she was very like obsessed and almost not even almost, she was sociopathic about her adventuring and stuff. So I liked that angle. And I never really, the only time I was okay with them giving Lara Croft a love interest was when Tomb Raider Angel Darkness came out. Now, before it came out, I saw Curtis Trent and I was like, oh no, they better not. Like where they've had him in the trailers and stuff, I was thinking they better not try that. But then I actually played the game once it came out. And fun fact about that too, I was the first person in the online Tomb Raider community that were there who beat Tomb Raider Angel Darkness, and I had to write a guide on part of it because because of the bugs and stuff, and people didn't know how to progress. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let me not brag there. So anyway, they say, oh, okay, well, whatever. At least they want to pretend like 2013 reboot Lara Croft was always gay coded, though. She was always a lesbian. That's the angle they want to pretend and go with. But when you actually play the game, which I have multiple times, I criticize the heck out of it, but at least I put my money where my mouth is, and I've played the game so freaking much, obviously more than these weirdos. So weirdos always try to retcon 2013 Lara Croft as a lesbian because she had a girl best friend. Meanwhile, the actual game, and here she is kissing Alex. Now, this is a character who was aboard the Endurance with her. He had a crush on her. She discovers this, and he's in a situation where he's about to die, and she kisses him on the cheek, And I didn't even have a problem with this. I even felt like it was within Lara's character to do. Even classic Lara Croft, I felt like it was within her character to do because she's still... And especially in this kind of situation, like, dude's about to die there. It was just this, I found this to be a sweet gesture in the game. This was actually a moment in the game that I liked. I was like, oh, well, that's sweet. But I could see Lara Croft doing that. But anyway, so there's that. And they want to but Lara and Sam, but they called each other sweetie. Yeah, as girls do sometimes. It's just like, bro... It was and so then of course I have to go educate these people who pretend like they're reboot fans even though they don't even play the games. It's like there's even a document in the game where Sam is talking about trying to get Lara Croft out of her comfort zone to go to bring her to clubs, and to Lara Croft's surprise, they ran into a bunch of cute boys. But they still want to pretend, oh no, she's a lesbian. Here's the thing, is because they're a bunch of narcissists, and narcissists don't have their own personality. They have to create one. So then they build their whole identity around something. And in this case, these narcissists have built their whole identity around all this queer ideology, which is from Satan. And they need to get out of it. They need to find Jesus and be redeemed and be saved. That's what I want for them. I don't want them in this stuff because that's not good for them. So, even though they're ruining everything and being insufferable right now, I still hope for the best for them. And the best for them would be to get out of that. So anyway, they do that. They build their whole identity around queer ideology because they have either a mental problem or narcissism, right? And because of that, they want to see that in everything. They can't fathom being a fan of something because the only thing they're a fan of is themselves. So they can't like something unless they insert themselves into it. And so they can't, that's why they're constantly trying to insert all of this queer stuff into Tomb Raider, because they can't like something unless they are a part of it. And they can't grasp the fact that here we have Kala here, a man who loves Lara Croft. And then people will tell me, I get this all the time, people even tell me, well, why are you complaining about how reboot Lara Croft looks and how she doesn't look like classic Lara Croft, but she looks more like you though? But reboot Lara looks like you. When this game first came out, like I have my friends texting me, oh my gosh, she looks like you. I have people tell me that, which there's that like similar silhouette, height, body type, all that kind of stuff. Facial features or whatever, I can see that, but they can't fathom that I don't want her to look like that. I don't want her to look more like me. And they don't get that because they're so all they know is narcissism. Like, no, you know what? I don't want them to try to make Lara Croft look more like me. Out of all the Lara Crofts, I would look the most like 2013 version, but I don't want Lara Croft to look like mostly like me, more like me. I want Lara Croft to look like Lara Croft, and here in her classic form, which I don't look anything like this. But this is what I want her to look like, because this is Lara Croft. And because I don't have to see myself in something to like it. As a matter of fact, I'd rather not see myself in something. I would rather just play. I get to see myself in real life, man. See too much of myself. Dadgummit. All right. So, anyway, then you have Weta announced and revealed a sneak peek of their Underworld statue they're working on, which if you know, Underworld Lara Croft was like very feminine looking, a lot more like classic features and all that kind of stuff. But of course, we don't have a paint yet, but that's very much a man face look. So I even compare it. I say, look, it's looking like the man face, the Leon Kennedy looking, androgynous, gender ambiguous looking Lara Croft that they're trying to push. So I think, and given the fact that she has a braid and seemingly a necklace there, this does look like it's more so they're unified Lara Croft than actual Tomb Raider Underworld Lara Croft, because this doesn't look like Underworld Lara. There's just sharks and she's wearing a wetsuit, but that's not Underworld Lara Croft anyway. So, also I posted this today. I said, whoa, Netflix's Tomb Raider has an actual lesbian scene. Now, here's the thing about this stuff is these fake fans, these newcomers, they want to pretend like they keep on to retcon, reboot Lara Croft's a lesbian, all that kind of stuff, and they want to just make that up. She's not. It's obvious she's not. She wasn't written that way. It's obvious. We have so many things to show us that's not the case. Now, if they did something to try to make her lesbian, I would admit it. And in this case, with the Netflix stuff, like, no freaking duh, they tried to make her lesbian. Like, you can see that. And with like the relationship with Camille Roth, who they retconned in there because according to reboot lore, Roth didn't have a daughter unless you count with that woman on the Endurance crew that he never met her. But he didn't have, and she was then his daughter would have been half black, so it definitely wouldn't have been Camille. So supposedly, now she grew up with Camille. Yeah, so this wasn't Reyes's daughter. Camille isn't. Also, yeah, they didn't grow up together. So none of this makes sense. So anyway, yeah, I'm just getting into Tomb Raider lore here, so I will get a bit nerdy with it. But anyway, no, obviously, if they want to say, I'm not going to argue with them that Netflix Lara Croft isn't supposed to be a lesbian. Like, you can tell. You can flat out tell, which I would recommend watching this video, by the way. So, I mean, the writing's on the wall with how they draw her, animate her, and then especially with her friend Camille, it definitely frames it as also this dress, which the queerdos noticed because I didn't. This is the bi flag colors. So anyway, and also this is the writer for the Netflix Abomination, so as you can expect. So anyway, yeah, they definitely make it look like, yes, Camille here. They definitely try to make it look like, hey, these two were a thing. They broke up. They were really sad and crying about it, blah, blah, blah. But just the way, they draw her, they write the story, the script and all that kind of stuff. It is very obvious that they try to make her very lesbian-like. So I ain't even arguing with them about that. Yeah, your Netflix Abomination, Lara. Yeah, of course, she's queer as heck. It's stupid. But that's not real Lara Croft. So anyway, yeah. Am I done rambling? Do I have anything else I want to add? I think that's it. Also, from what we know, from what they revealed from season 2 is, guys, there's going to be sharks, so there might be some shark punching. Ooh. Anyway, there's that. I'm not even mad about a season 2. I think it's hilarious because we already saw season 1 flop. That means season 2 is going to flop even more. I mean, it's going to flop even harder. So then it'll get canceled. It'll be hilarious. This is where myself and even a lot of other classic fans are at, is we're like, go ahead, Crystal Dynamics, run it to the ground. Do it. It'll be hilarious once Embracer lets you go because of it. So keep on doing it. Can't do this forever. You can't lose money forever. You can't lose money forever. So we have the remasters, meanwhile, made by Saber Interactive and a team of hardcore fans, and Crystal Dynamics doesn't touch that. They don't develop it. And those are amazing. Very accurate, faithful, and you could tell the fans put their heart into it. So those are good. Support those. As we support those, and as this other stuff flops, then before we know it, Embracer will hand Tomb Raider to another studio. And perhaps Tomb Raider can be saved. But right now, it's not in good hands. It's in terrible hands. So anyway, there you have it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And as always, if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all again. I'll catch you next time. In the meantime, go boom.